welcome to Valley Happenings. I'm Susie Wiley, and like always, thanks for tuning in. And welcome to fall. Yeah, it's here. I mean, I have this tree and I have coffee below. I've already spilled a cup of coffee in my kitchen, and I don't want to spill this. I have a tree in the front of my yard, and its leaves are starting to come down, and every morning I look at it and it keeps losing more leaves. But it's the season, and it's the fall and winter upon us, and you know, let's hope that this corona thing goes away and we can spend time with relatives and friends during all these wonderful, wonderful holidays that are coming up. Okay, now I am so excited because one of my favorite people in the whole wide world here is on the show today, and his name is Ed Higdon. And all of you who have used Decatur Engraving and Supply,
all right.
He and his partner ran that for how many years?
45 years.
Woo! 45 years, so everybody knows Ed. But I didn't know Ed from that world. I knew Ed from the world of books. And Ed you're a storyteller. And you're telling a story about your relatives and characters you've met.
Right. Well, you know, the first thing I was told is you write about something you know about.
Sure, that's rule number one.
Right.
But you've had all these people that you've met in your lifetime. And stories. Did you hear stories from your relatives that told you about people?
Right. Two of my grandfathers lived either with us or around us during World War II. Mm-hmm. And I always like to get their stories because, to me, it made their lives real. Mm-hmm. And when the other kids are out playing, I was in the house talking to my grandfathers and getting their stories about growing up and how they made a living and things that happened.
Sure.
And
that's what young people watching today are people, you know, and your grandparents are still alive. Question them about things. Question them.
If it's not written down, it's gone.
Right, and if somebody doesn't say it to you, it's gone.
It's gone.
So your stories take the people and relatives and stories you've heard, and you enhance them. So it's...
Well, someone asked me one...
Truth and fiction.
Someone asked me one time, said, is anything in this book true? And I said, there's not a word of it. It's all fiction, but it's based on real characters.
On real characters. Okay, now this new one is called Shadows of the Past. And it's a wonderful story because it's about people. The heart of people and what the heart of people can do when you have a cause. Is that a great way to explain it?
Absolutely. Without a cause, you're just going around in circles. Mm-hmm. Which reminds me of, don't get me on my soapbox about today, but...
No, we won't. That'll be the 5th book or something.
Well, there's a sequel to this one that's coming out.
I know.
But without a cause, you're lost.
Okay, so you have characters here that you've met or you've heard about. Okay,
yes.
So just give everybody like a little, you know, what the book is about and why they should read it.
Well, I refer to it as a feel-good book. And the reason I say feel-good, when you get through, you can say, I either enjoyed it or it meant something to me. So many of the books I've read in recent years have no real theme. It's just horror, death, damnation, and destruction. Mm-hmm. And I like to look at the other side, which is positive and has a meaning rather than just a happening.
Okay, or like a mystery. You know, once it's done, once you figure the mystery out, you're done.
You're done.
You can't read the book again. Okay, you know how it ended. But you know, you build these characters. There's marriages that go on. You know, you entwine the characters into this whole picture somehow.
Right.
Did you always write, Ed?
No, I've always wanted to. I've been a reader since I learned
Okay,
to
you're a
read.
reader.
But someone told me, I kept talking about, well, I'd like to write a book, write a book, write a book. And somebody several years ago said, at your age, you better hurry. So the first one, No Place to Hide,
Oh, it was great.
it was written in less than 6 weeks.
Oh, it was great.
And this one, The Shadows, it took over a year because I was continuing the sequence from one year to the next year, what could happen with people who really work together. And in fact, there's another sequel that's coming out to this one where the kids grow up. But the point that he made, and it stuck in my mind, at our age, we better get busy.
Yeah, but you know, what a legacy to leave for your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. You know, years from now, your great-great-grandchildren, they go, oh, your great-great-grandpa wrote a couple books. But they could sit down and read them and know who you were.
Well, that's true. And
Do you put you in the book?
no, I'm not in there. We won't characters.
Higdon is not in the book. I've read part of it. I hadn't had time to read all of it. But the characters are rich, and the parts that I read, I mean the chapters that I read, they're rich. They have soul. They're not all perfect people.
Some of them didn't grow up. Some of them didn't grow up at the foot of the cross.
Okay, right. But for a cause, everybody comes together.
Absolutely. And there's one character in there that is truly fictional, who was a scoundrel.
Frenchie?
No, not Frenchie. Although he was a scoundrel, but he was a scoundrel. He was a thief, and he just couldn't take care of his, or would not take care of his family. And through being associated with good people, he began to see the error of his ways. And a good wife who would not accept him as he was after all these years, she kind of put him in his place, and as most wives do.
See, we do get credit for something.
But most of the characters are people that I have known. And I took those characters, and it may not reflect their actual part of life, but the character is there, and we tried to give a good picture of what can happen when good people try to do good things and work together as a community.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, here and it's coming up, I think it's October 25th or 26th, that we built Adventure Park. And that was 2,000 people
Right.
that signed up for 72 hours
Right.
from dirt to a park for children that has lasted all this time.
Right.
But 2,000 people came together, either cooking or pounding or digging or
Right.
painting. Everybody was doing something, and there was shifts, and it was the most amazing thing I ever saw in my life.
Yeah, our son that has run Decatur Engravers for the past few years participated in the first one, and he signed up for so many hours. Of course, I knew a lot of people that did, and it was a community effort that you wouldn't believe.
It was the most amazing thing in everything. It was just wonderful how this all came to be, and it didn't cost Decatur one dime.
Right. Well, that's something I emphasize in this book, that it's the tail end of or the latter part of the Depression, and people are working themselves to death to try to make a living.
Sure, put food on the table, put a potato on a table.
Yes, and all of a sudden somebody says, well, they're having no fun. So between the city, the county, and the Union Pacific Railroad, they came up with a venue of starting a theater for their employees, which encompassed then the whole community.
Town.
And I thought of the Princess Theater going from a livery stable to the
To a
what it is
movie
today.
house. To a movie house, to a
Right.
theater. Now we have, like series, like songwriter series, all kinds of things going. Now they have old movies going on
Right,
again.
right.
So what is old becomes new again. Am I right?
Well,
You just wait the pendulum.
well, my wife and I discussed this morning, that so many people don't read today because they've got so much that is, I call empty. Empty. And where in a book, especially good books, good books, give you a better perspective of what life used to be, could be again. It's my hope that in the future we have a better world. And these people created for themselves a better world. They had help, but they had a lot of hard work.
Yeah, when you say the world you live in.
Right. My community.
Yeah, the world you live in. And if your world becomes good, then somebody down the road goes, what are you doing that makes it so good? Then they
Right.
want to copy. And then it can become global.
Correct.
We can't control things that are going on in other countries,
No.
but we can control what's going on in our own world.
Correct.
I said my world consists of 12 miles.
Well,
your world is really not that big.
no, it isn't. Well, speaking of the world, I have another book will be published this fall called Lacon Mountain Chronicles. For you that have ever been to Lacon Trade Day, I grew up a mile from there.
Did you go a lot?
No, back in my day, it was a little village. It was a town.
Oh, okay.
And it had a sawmill, a gin, and a brickyard, and a couple of stores. Now then, it's just a trade day, flea market type thing.
On Saturdays and Sundays.
Saturdays and Sundays. And their motto, if you can't find it here, it hadn't been made yet. You can buy
do they have everything there?
and you can buy anything from a goat to to old records, anything. I mean, they
You
got,
should get some goats for Decatur.
well,
Go down and
they
they
can
can
put them
eat
out on the
pigs.
right of way.
Yeah, they can learn graves, and that would save a lot of money.
But that's a good example of our world, because part of it's my childhood. Where I grew up, we had, it was 2 miles to our mailbox.
Oh,
And
my.
yes. And the only
Were you
transportation,
born on a farm?
yes ma'am. No running water, no electricity, and 2 miles to the mailbox. And all we had was a pair of mules and a wagon.
Well, wait a minute. 2 miles to your mailbox from
Correct.
your house. And
Yes.
your property was large?
Oh, 120 acres, wasn't a big
Okay,
farm.
but you had to go to the post office to get your mail?
Well, no, the mail stopped before it went down our dirt road. And there was a
Oh,
row of mailboxes there that everybody just, when they could, they came to the mailbox.
so you'd have to go 2 miles.
My grandfather did during the war, and of course, he stayed with us while my dad was gone during the war.
Mhm.
And he went every Tuesday and every Thursday.
To the mailbox.
Right. So when you grow up and your world is small,
Mhm.
and you see something bigger, you're amazed.
Oh, sure. I mean, all of us. I mean, nobody could say, once you leave your world and go someplace else, go to L.A. or go to New York City, and you go, oh my goodness, you
Yes.
feel like a real farm girl from
Yeah.
down on the farm, looking up at the buildings and going, oh my goodness.
Well, can you imagine a 5-year-old riding a train from Faultville to Leonardtown, Maryland in 1944 that had never been to Decatur? Never been to
Wait a
a
minute.
big town.
How many hours would that be?
Oh, I can't remember. I was so small, but I would guess it'd be 12, 13 hours at least. 'Cause-
So many people would like to see trains again.
yes, I would.
I mean, trains to take you places.
Right.
And, the fun of a train, I think I was on a train once. Well, not even a train. I used to use the Rapid in Cleveland, where you get
Right.
on the rapid transit and that's the train, and you'd go downtown, which was so convenient, and it's still running.
Right.
But towns gave that up. You know, then they went to subways, and they went underground.
Well,
I don't know.
Leaving
It'd be kind of fun. And even, what's the one, the train system, Amtrak, it's not doing very well. Nobody's using it.
right. Well, it has to be government subsidized.
Yeah.
But I can remember riding the train, like to Birmingham. A lot of my family were railroad
Yeah,
people.
I
I'd
hear a
catch
lot
the
of
train
people say that.
in Fayetteville and go to Birmingham. you know.
Right. A lot of people say that they used to go to Birmingham to even go Christmas shopping. They'd spend
Absolutely.
the Saturday, get on the train and go to Birmingham. But Shadows of the Past, okay. And why do you name it Shadows of the Past?
Well,
I mean, when you
everybody's
think of
got a
shadow-
past. Everybody.
You know, we all have pasts.
Good, bad, or indifferent. Some of
Right.
us we're proud of, some of us we're not. I'm not proud of everything in my past, but I don't want to tell everybody about it either.
Yeah, it might come out in the book.
But when we did No Place to Hide, we created a base.
Okay.
And Shadows, these same people became different people almost. They were good people, and over the period of time there, they developed into stronger, bigger characters.
Okay.
In other words, they were not the meek, mild little housewife that stayed home. She becomes a leader, not only in the family, but the community.
But in a long time ago.
Yes.
Yes, not today.
And not today. But when I started thinking about Shadows of the Past, I was thinking about people coming from different cultures and different backgrounds and becoming better people, not the same people they were. And when I took the core of the original book and started expanding it, I thought, you know, this is going to get boring. So we got to get some new people in here. And there's a couple in there that are from my background. One of them is a transient who came and stayed with my grandfather during the summer, worked in Decatur, and in October he disappeared, went back to Arkansas, and he hitchhiked with a gas can so people would think he was out of gas. And he would stop and pick him up. Now, instead of gas, he had his clothes in a gas can. And another one, of course, that's in the first book is Frenchie, who was a Cajun that I was in the Marine Corps with. And after visiting him in Louisiana and visiting some of his relatives, another character comes out in here that they had a different way of life, a different attitude, a whole different way of looking at things. But when you put them all together, they became a real, viable, workable community, and they all worked for the same thing. It was success.
Yeah, and the premise of the book is there's a town that is really, really sad, okay, and everybody's poor as
Church mice.
And all of a sudden they get an idea, and somebody brings an idea to them, and they don't snub it, they embrace it.
They embrace
Am
it,
I right?
and they make a success out of it.
And the town benefits from this.
Right. Well,
And that's the story of working together, you know. We should give some politicians this book.
well, let me say something about the book itself. My first book was published by a group out of Pittsburgh. This one was published by a local publishing company. Yes, Suncoast Publishing, which is owned out of Hartselle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Martine Fairbanks is the publisher. Her son, Ben Bates, who is a pastor out in the county at New Center, is a partner. Rob Jackson, who is the former pastor of Central Baptist Church, is a partner. And his daughter, who is a commercial artist, did the cover.
Martine, she's an educator, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I know Martine.
Yes, well, she's the publisher
Well,
on
she's
it.
wonderful.
Well, I think so, because she's done a good job
I've
with
known her for a while. I know her. I've known her since she was principal at
Priceful.
in the new elementary school.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, when I was looking for...
But anyhow, that's a publishing company out of Hartselle,
Hartselle,
which is
correct.
really nice. And they're going to do your third book?
Yes, that's already at the publisher now.
Now, the thing with your first book, because all of you who watch Valley know that I love books, and I've interviewed a lot of book authors over the last decades. But the publishing company from Pittsburgh emailed me and told me about you, remember?
Right, correct.
Yeah, I didn't get anything about this book other than from the author himself. That's doing your own PR.
Well, here again, Suncoast is just now getting off the ground.
I'm going to have to have Martina.
There will be
local, very good for
information
local.
right,
Very,
right.
very good for local.
But they did a fantastic job,
Yes.
and it was a pleasure.
Where can we buy this?
Well, of course, I have them personally for sale, but Second Read Books up on 2nd Avenue will have them October the 1st.
Okay.
And there'll be some other venues besides Amazon. You can buy them on Amazon. You can go to Books A Million or Barnes & Noble, and they'll order them for you. They do not stock self-published books.
Oh, okay.
But
So the best is to go to Amazon.
Right, but on Amazon, it's $19. And of course, if you buy them from us, we do autograph them. Not that that's worth anything, but
To me, it's priceless.
well, the signature is don't transpose it on a check, because it'll bounce.
I know. You'll put a paper over it and rub it with, yeah. Okay, no, I'm not going to tell anybody that.
Well, we don't pass out your trade secrets.
Don't pass that trade secret.
But
But again, a lovely book, a lovely cover, okay. Did you design the cover, or did...
no, they are
What is the name of the company?
Suncoast Publishing.
Suncoast Publishing.
But Abigail Jackson, my former pastor's daughter,
Oh.
designed that. She's a commercial artist.
It's lovely. Everybody, again, Ed, you're wonderful. I adore you. I love having you on. And when Ed came in, we were talking about hitchhiking and stories that you have. And that will probably be another book, too, because you have some wonderful hitchhiking stories.
Yeah, it's in the next book, Lake on Mountain Chronicles.
Okay, I'm going to have to go down some Saturday just to see this before you come on.
Be sure to get you some meat skins.
What's meat skins?
Well, there's meat skins that they cook right there on the, like you get in a bag at the grocery store. You can buy them they're right out of the kettle.
Is it like surprise meat?
No, it's
good?
It's good.
Oh, it's real meat. It isn't like roadkill or anything.
No. I'm not sure about that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Get yourself some meat down there. Okay, Ed, thank you so much. We're going to take a break. You're going to see a video, and then Tricia Pruitt is here with lots of stuff going on at the BBB. We'll be right back.